Sweet guys, so I'm Liam, this is my client Mike. Today we're going to be going over the athlete active assessment. So all the active ranges of motion, assessing their stability and control through a proper range of motion. So we're going to start off with the overhead squat here. So Mike's got this dowel at 90 degrees with his arms. He's going to press it straight overhead. And here he's just going to go into a deep squat. And we're going to see if there's any sort of compensation, any leaks, any movement, any bleed over into a different position. Overall, this looks pretty good. Go ahead and come out of that squat, turn about 45 degrees here for me, Mike. Good, then same thing here. I'm gonna watch for any hip shift, any sort of movement, right? Any sort of imbalances. And honestly, it looks pretty dang good here. Then go ahead and come straight up, and then face the camera for us, Mike. And same thing here, right? Don't want those hands bleeding too far forward. Not rolling over at the ankles too much. Heels are able to stay on the ground. Looks like he doesn't need to elevate the heels anything crazy. So from there, looks pretty dang good as far as I can tell. So we can lose that dowel here, Mike. I want you going to the top of a push-up for me. Go ahead and turn 90 degrees. Sweet. So this next one's just a little push-up test, right? So what I'm gonna assess is not if he can do a push-up or not. What I'm gonna assess is his shoulder blades. So I'm looking at his shoulder blades, and I wanna make sure that there's no wing, right? So you can see that his shoulder blade's sitting flat against his rib cage. There's not too much. This right one's got a little bit of a lip here. Left one sits flush, so nothing too crazy. And he's been holding this for about 10-15 seconds where that's to the point where you can start to tell if someone's pronouncing a shoulder blade up and towards the air, and doesn't look like he is. He's sitting nice and flat. So go ahead and rock 3 push-ups here for me, Mike. Just straight down, straight back up. And the whole time I'm looking to see, hey, does that wing pop out at all? And from what I can tell, it does not. Hold it again here. And there's still a little bit on that right side. So we can see that right side has a little less scapular control, right? And the left side doesn't. So that is something to mark down. Nothing super crazy. And as he starts to get fatigued, you can start to see there's a little bit more of it. I can almost grab a little bit on the bottom portion there. So definitely something to take note of there. The second thing that we're gonna get into is a little T-spine rotation. So I want Mike to sit crisscross applesauce here facing the camera. I'm gonna have him hold this PVC dowel in a front rack position like he's about to front squat, keeping those elbows up. And then from here, I'm gonna stand behind him. I'm gonna make sure his back's up straight. I'm gonna make sure that he's not leaning or rounding forward. And I want him to go ahead and rotate as far as he can in one direction, keeping that dowel straight, not turning it at all. Perfect. I want you to just hold and then breathe through that position here for me, Mike. He's staying nice and tall, and he seems relatively comfortable. You can at least breathe in this position. It's not super strained, which is always a good sign. If we're assessing active mobility, we should be able to control that position, be able to breathe through it. Same thing, going turn towards the other side here, Mike. So he's got about 45 degrees on that side. And same thing, he's got a little even bit more than 45 degrees. Though that dowel's a little crooked, so make sure they're holding that. And yeah, same thing, couple deep breaths here, Mike, trying to control that midline through that torso. And looks perfect, so we can go ahead and that looks like a solid result there. He's got 45 degrees in both directions, no crazy imbalances. He's not compensating, leaning, rounding at all, which is always great. The next thing we're gonna get into is a little kneeling windmill. So right here, I'm gonna have him go one knee down on this pad just for comfort, and then outside knee is gonna stay up. I'm gonna take this med ball here, it's just a 4-pound med ball. I'm gonna block it to the wall and then to his knee. So this makes sure that his hip doesn't pop in or out, it's not moving around at all. But to have him take both hands straight out in front of him, and then the inside hand, I want to have him take that up and around, right? So here, I want to make sure that those hips are staying square, right? Just like in any of our shoulder tests, we don't want those hips or lower back compensating for the movement through the T-spine and through that shoulder. So another rep here, Mike. Open it up. Good. So I can see a little bit of hip movement going on. I want you to try and keep those as square as you can, Mike. Good. That one's a lot better. Definitely has a little tiny bit of compensation, but not a ton. So overall, this looks pretty good. He's got good shoulder rotation, good control. And then I want you to take one more rep and then pause about 3/4 of the way through this here, Mike. So right about a little more there, and then hold it right there for me. Keep this hand with the thumb out. Go ahead and raise this off the wall as best you can. Yep, just keep it straight off the wall. So he's got good control in this position. This is one of the harder positions to be in. This is like a prone Y raise, right? Or an exercise in the Blackburn, or this would be a difficult position. And he's holding that pretty well. So that's another way you can use the assessment to test to see, hey, do I have control in a certain specific position within this assessment? The next thing that we're gonna do is a seated wall angel. So we can ditch that med ball, we can ditch this pad here. I want you to sit flat against the wall here, Mike. Legs both out straight in front of you. And have you take your hands and place them against the wall. Beautiful, and then try and keep the wrists as far back as possible. Go and raise these as much as you can. I'm looking to see, hey, does that lower back come off? Is he at any point coming off midline? Try and keep the elbows against the wall as well. And then go ahead and lower, and then raise straight up. And what I'm looking at here is, are those lower traps staying engaged, right? So can he hold on to that position, right? Is he leaning forward? Is he compensating? Is anything moving around, right? Am I able to hold in a nice position? I'm able to keep the wrist back, keep the elbows against the wall, or is everything falling apart like wet tissue paper? And from here, I can see, hey, he's staying in a nice controlled position. Those lower traps are obviously engaged. He's able to keep his lower back against the wall. Elbows and wrists are staying pretty close to the wall. Could be better, could be a lot worse. The next thing that we're gonna pop into is global flexion position. So these are tests to kind of see at the end, hey, can I hold a flexion? Can I hold an extension? So I'm gonna have Mike here. What he's gonna do is lay down in a supine position. He's gonna pull his knees up and he's gonna put his elbows against his knees, almost like in a crunch, and he's gonna put his hands next to the sides of his head. So here, toes are pulled up as well. I'm gonna pull Mike up, and his goal is to try and keep his elbows against his knees the whole time. And let's see if he can hold on. Keep holding on, keep holding on. And then same thing, we're gonna head back, and then I wanna keep those elbows against those knees. This is something that can just test, hey, do they have an active core? Do they have all the active internal muscles that are able to pull them in? And then the last thing that we can do to test extension, this is partly mobility, partly stability and control, is that crab walk position. So I'm gonna have him turn his hands out, keep his feet on the ground, and then bridge up. So in this position, you can kind of give yourself a little idea of, hey, what muscles are working? Are his glutes up, or his lower back up? And I remember from the passive assessment, he had pretty poor shoulder external rotation, or shoulder extension. And because of that, this is obviously gonna be a pretty uncomfortable position. And from what Mike, I can ask him, hey, does your shoulder feel like it's bugging? And you can relax, sorry, Mike. So I can ask him, hey, does that shoulder feel like a limiting factor? Do those hips feel like a limiting factor? How comfortable is this position? From that tabletop position, again, it could be a lot worse, could be a little bit better. Overall, I think you did a really great job, and thank you, Mike, for being a part of this.